Welcome to Real Life with Jenny. My name's Jenny Senaparatna. I know it doesn't sound like me, um, so grab your favorite drink. You might need several snacks to get through this with this voice, and we'll get started. Today I have a strawberry fruit leather, and I have water and more water trying to get this voice back. So let's get real. Yes, you guessed it. I am under the weather, and I wanted to come on just really quick this week and give you an update on the trip that I did a podcast on a few weeks ago. Well, we did it. We made it to Brussels, Belgium, and I decided to leave the fears of the last trip behind, but also learn lessons from what happened last time. So when we first got there, we got there on a Friday morning, and I asked to directly go to the grocery store. So, which I'm really glad we did. God did some amazing things. I actually met someone in the grocery store while we were there. She was from the U.S. and said, "Where are you from?" And we ended up striking up a conversation, which was quite a blast. She's been living in that area for over 20 years. So it was really fun to be able to get her advice on groceries and just chat with her about her life. So that was one of those key moments that I was like, this is why we're at the grocery store right now, right? And so we got groceries, just some basics. But my favorite thing we got at the grocery store is freshly squeezed orange juice. Now, I don't know if you've been to other countries or if your area is cooler than mine, but there are lots of places in Europe and actually around the world that they make freshly squeezed orange juices, and they take oranges, they squeeze them, and they put them in a bottle. It is amazing. It's the best thing I've ever tasted. And so we got one of those, and as you can tell, I'm really glad we did. So we spent the next few days recovering from jet lag. And if you've never experienced jet lag, I'm telling you, it's real, and it is sometimes overwhelming and sometimes very frustrating, actually, because you're up in the middle of the night going, oh, it's day, let's do this. And it's not. It's time to be sleeping, but you're not on the right time zone anymore. And it was a 7-hour time difference. So it doesn't take that long. It takes 7 days, it says, to kind of get your body back in shape. But when you're only there for 10, it's an interesting journey. So on Sunday morning, we had an amazing opportunity to go and speak at a local church. And it was so fun. I absolutely loved the people of the church, and I loved being able to talk to people. I got to pray with people. It was just, my husband spoke. I did a 5-second, hey, Christ Connection, here's what we're doing, a little bit of encouragement. And then I got to talk to people after service and just get to know them and hear their stories. And some stories broke my heart and others inspired me. It was just really an amazing time. Then we got to go out to lunch with some missionaries, and that was probably the best food I've ever had outside the United States in my life. It was a Chinese restaurant, and I'm telling you, I would fly back to that area just for that food. It was so good. Now, I'm a food memory girl. That's kind of what I love. I love food. And so it was a very fun food memory. Now, there was a second service that day, and we finished eating lunch around 2, and this next service didn't start till 5. So we actually ended up dropping Kevin off at the church and going back with the missionaries back to our apartment at CTS, which is Continental Theological Seminary, if you're wondering what CTS is on any of my Facebook posts or anything like that. It is an Assemblies of God college in Brussels, Belgium. It's one of the places my daughter is considering to go to college as we pray through that. Not sure that I'm ready for my little girl to go overseas yet, but we'll see what God does. Anyway, so we left Kevin there to do service, and Samantha and I went back to the apartment, and the next thing I knew, I fell on the bed and just zonked out. Kevin came home around 8:30 that night, And by the time he got home, I knew this was going to be a very unique trip for me personally. Now, why did I know that? I wasn't feeling great. There was something off. I was like, I'm feeling kind of gross, but we'll figure this out. And so he got home, and on Monday morning, I woke up and I just knew that I was sick. I actually knew I was sick on Sunday, but when after lunch, during lunch, I was feeling just fine. And I felt kind of like my whole body just said, I'm done, burp, and just shut down. Now it's been over a week and I still don't have a voice. I am still struggling with what happened there. I actually ended up spending 3 full days in bed, like not even like getting up to basically get a cup of water and go back to bed. I ate crackers. That was about it. Like it was probably the sickest I've been in 4 to 5 years. Like I don't think I've been that sick since I had double pneumonia. That was the last time I remember being that sick. It was a very humbling experience as we're at this school that I wanted to go to and pray with people and be with people, and COVID was no longer there and I'm stuck. I was literally stuck in bed, could not physically get out of bed. I was so sick. In fact, the day that I finally figured out that I could, I'm going to do this, we'd pretty much run out of groceries at that point. I needed to go to the grocery store. I ended up going to the grocery store with one of my dear friends, and she was so gracious and so wonderful. And I got to tell you, I love a grocery store overseas. There's nothing like it. And I was doing really well. I was like, things are good. I'm feeling okay. And we get to the checkout, and she hands me some coupons to hold on to. And when she handed me the coupons, my whole world started spinning in circles. Like I was seeing spots, and I couldn't even see her anymore. And I gave her back the coupons, and I said, I have to sit down. And I believe a few minutes later, she came and found me. I'm not sure. I remember putting my head down, and that's about all I remember. It was when I passed out on the plane on the way to Israel. It was that exact sensation, except I never fell, which is awesome because I hear they would have called the emergency ambulance, and then I would have been stuck in the hospital, and that would not have been fun for me. And my friend was amazing, and it was very scary. I'm sure I've scared her, and she's never taking me out again. But we ended up getting home, and we're back to the apartment. And I remember I got back to the apartment, and I told Kevin about what happened, and he was like, okay, you're not leaving the house again. This is ridiculous. And I just sat there going, Lord, I came here to minister, and here I am stuck. And I really felt like God was teaching me something in that moment. And that moment was that my plans are not his plans, right? My plan was to go and make things different and make new memories. And definitely I did that. I definitely did that. But his plan was for me to rest in a way that I would never have rested before. Now, am I exhausted now? Yes. Am I still fighting what I had there? Absolutely. Was I grateful that they let me on a plane to come home? Yes, I prayed my guts out. I was like, Lord, I just want to go home. I've actually never been so happy to come home in my entire life. There has never been a time when I'm on vacation that I'm like, oh, I can't wait to go home. Because I love being out with people, and I love new experiences, and I love new things. And that's just kind of how God has wired me. I love new adventures. That's just something that he's wired inside of me. And this time, all I wanted to do is get home to my bed and my dog and just be home with chicken noodle soup. That is all I wanted. In fact, last night I made chicken noodle soup because I'm like, I don't care how I feel. I've been craving chicken noodle soup since the moment I landed in Brussels. And here we are now having chicken noodle soup. Now, what does this have to do with you? Honestly, I have no idea. I have no idea what you've walked through over this last holiday season. I have no idea if it met your expectations, if it was better or worse than you expected, if it was lonely or full of love, or if it was a stressful time or a really joyful time and it filled your bucket, or if it drains your bucket. I don't know. But I do know that no matter what happened, God was in the midst of it, and he loved you through it all, and that he has a new plan and a new purpose for your future beyond that time. I know that my time in Belgium was not used the way I wanted it to be used. But maybe because I was not available, Kevin and Sam were more available to people than they would have been if I would have been there. Maybe God used them in other ways. I'm going to come back and talk a little bit more when I have a voice about the things I was able to do when we were there. But today I just wanted to tell you that your holiday season may not look the way you want it to look, but you can find joy and peace and love in the midst of that when you rely on God, when you know that he's going to bring you through and bring you home, bring you to the place of joy and rapture, which was my bed. Well, that's all I have for you this week. I pray that you will find peace and joy and love in this season, no matter how you feel or what circumstances are surrounding you. I pray that the Lord's love, peace, and joy will fill you. You can find me at Real Life with Jenny on Instagram, Facebook, and Be Real. You can also find me at ChristConnection.cc/Jen. Have a blessed week.